DNA. Everyone has heard of it. A component of all life on Earth. Deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, is the information transferred from cell to cell when cells reproduce. The information is transferred through two processes called transcription and translation. These processes are only possible because of the structure of DNA. DNA is made up of two strands that are held together by intermolecular forces. Each of these strands is made up of 4 different bases. These bases being thymine, cytosine, adenine, and guanine. Hopefully I said those right. Each of these bases can only bond with one other base. These bases are also represented by their first letter. Thymine being T, adenine being A, cytosine being C, and guanine being G. Guanine can only form hydrogen bonds with cytosine, and thymine can only form hydrogen bonds with adenine. These two strands can only be pulled apart because the bonds and the bases, covalent bonds, are stronger than the intermolecular forces that hold the two strands together, which are hydrogen bonds. These bonds are possible between all of the bases because the nitrogen and hydrogen at the end of the bases are able to make hydrogen bonds with the oxygen at the ends of the other bases. These bonds are possible because the oxygen and nitrogen in these bases are very electronegative, meaning when the nitrogen forms a covalent bond with the hydrogen, it makes the hydrogen relatively positive and it allows it to form a hydrogen bond with the oxygen. This phenomenon occurs in all of the hydrogen bonds that hold the bases together. Okay, now let's talk about transcription. Transcription is the process in which the information from one strand of DNA is encoded into a strand of RNA. The only differences between DNA and RNA is that DNA contains thymine and RNA contains uracil. These bases are very similar, the only difference being that one contains CH3 and the other does not. This does not really matter when the two bases are hydrogen bonding though, because the CH3 is not used when hydrogen bonding with adenine, which is the only base that either of these can bond with. Here's an example of two strands of DNA. As you can see, C forms hydrogen bonds with G, T with A, G with C, and A with T, and so on. The process of transcription occurs when one strand is taken away from the other, and a piece of RNA comes in and is encoded with the information from one strand of DNA. Now, this works because the C goes with the G, the T with the A, the G with the C, but the only difference is that A bonds with U because RNA does not have thymine, it has uracil, which is what the adenine of the DNA bonds with. The information from a strand of RNA can be used to make another strand of DNA, which in turn can be used to make the other strand of DNA. So with a piece of RNA, you can completely replicate a strand of DNA. The two strands are able to be pulled apart without separating the bonds and the bases because the hydrogen bonds that hold the two strands together are not as strong as the covalent bonds, so they can easily be separated without the bond bases falling apart. As you can see, intermolecular forces are very important to our world. The process of DNA replication would not be possible without intermolecular forces. DNA is very important because DNA contains all of the genetic information which is transferred from one cell to another when cells reproduce. These are the implications of intermolecular forces in the process of DNA reproduction. Without the process of DNA reproduction, you would not have all your physical attributes, so you would not be you. DNA is what makes you unique and special. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. It was a lot of fun to make.